baseball.
The Dallas Cowboys opened their '97 campaign with a dominating effort against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Since then, the Cowboys offense has had a hard time finding the end zone. After a bye week and with Chicago coming to town, they hope to jumpstart their offense.
Texas Stadium on a warm afternoon in Irving, Texas, the home of the Cowboys, as they entertain the visiting Chicago Bears in their record of 0-4. The Cowboys are 2-1 and coming off a bye week. Pat Summerall here with John Madden, and the Bears disappointed obviously with their 0-4 start. They're missing one of their key defensive linemen this afternoon. Alonzo Spellman stayed in Chicago, didn't make the trip. He has a bad shoulder. They've had all kinds of injuries. They've had all kinds of problems. And how can they hope to stay in this game against the Cowboys?
Yeah, you have to say that's going to be tough. But we just know, looking at these games and the scores as they come across, that anything can happen in this league. And I think if the Bears are going to have a chance, they have to get the game into the fourth quarter and then try and win it there. Well, you say, well, how do they get it into the fourth quarter? I think on offense, they have to have ball control. Raymond Harris has to have a big day running, but in this league, that's not enough, just running the ball. I mean, Rick Meyer is going to have to do something. He's going to have to throw the ball, and he's throwing against the two best corners in football, so you're not going to work your wide receivers anyway. I think the throwing game has to be the tight end to the backs, and when you do work your wide receivers, you work them in the middle of the field rather than outside. And then on defense, they just have to do what everyone's done to the Cowboys. You have to play 8 men up. You have to stop Emmitt Smith on the run, and then on the passing downs, you have to blitz and knock Troy Aikman down.
And you have to disturb some of that rhythm that the Cowboys have become famous for over the years. The Cowboys are 2-1. They come off a bye week, but they're not quite in sync. What do they need to do to get themselves back together?
And, you know, when you think about the Cowboys and their offense, it's really always been based on the run and being able to have success in the run. And that's one of the first things they have to do. I mean, that offensive line has to give holes for Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith has to become the old Emmitt Smith. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet this year. And then the other things they have to be able to do is to handle the blitz, because Philadelphia blitzed them and they didn't handle it. Arizona blitzed them and they didn't handle it. They have to be able to handle that. And then they have to, when they get in the red zone, score touchdowns.
The key seems to be knock Aikman down. And John and I'll be back for the opening kickoff when Fox NFL Sunday continues.
For the Erickson Countdown.
Toby Goen will kick off for the Cowboys as the Bears won the toss. Tyrone Hughes back deep for the former Monsters of the Midway. Used it more and more on offense now. One thing, the Cowboys will be on defense first. Chad Hennings, one of their starting defensive tackles, has a groin pull, a severe groin pull, and he will not start on defense. His place taken by a rookie tackle from Syracuse, Antonio Anderson. Hennings is not dressed. Toby Goen set to kick it off. The Bears looking into the setting sun as Hughes will start. He lost it in that sun. Bounced out of the end zone. So the Bears will start their offense from their own 20 behind Rick Meyer, 5-year career in the NFL. And this is his offensive line: Heck, Schultz, Pilgrim, Berger, and Williams. The big cat with a bad ankle, but playing. Raymond Harris, Tony Carter, the two runners, Ingram, Ricky Prohl, and Keith Jennings will open at tight end, although we'll still see a lot of two tight ends set up. First and 10 Bears. Rick Meyer, the quarterback, from their own 20. This is Raymond Harris. 5 yards, maybe 6. Let's look at the Dallas defense, minus Chad Hennings now up front. Carver, Anderson, Tony Casillas, and Tony Tolbert. Coakley, Strickland, and Godfrey, the linebackers. And in the secondary, the strength of their defense: Sanders, Marion, Woodson, and Kevin Smith. Wouldn't be surprised to see all of them in the Pro Bowl. 2nd and 5. 4 make it as he crossed the 25. Looks like a play change. Meyer. Incomplete.
You know, that was a play change, Pat, and what it was is anytime you see that 8th man up, Darren Woodson was up there as the 8th guy up. So what Rick Meyer said that he wants to throw against that. You see, here's Darren Woodson here. So 8 men up means that they have 8 men up here in the front. So there's always going to be an extra man against the run. So if there's 8 men up there, then that means that there's only 3 men to defend, and that ball should be passed, although it was tipped too.
Yeah, it was tipped by Anderson. 3 wide receivers. Chris Penn is the 3rd. Meyer. Pass caught by Chris Penn. It was on the Kansas City practice squad. Picked up by the Bears just recently.
That was the thing Dave Wanstead said that they were going to have to do, is get Chris Penn in there in these nickel situations. You see, wide receivers are using their hands more and more to beat defenders. They used to beat them with moves, and now they're beating them by pushing and pulling. He just took Kevin Smith with his right hand and just pushed him to the outside as he made the cut.
1st down Bears at their own 44, an 18-yard pickup. Raymond Harris bangs to the 49, close to midfield.
Well, there's an impressive guy, Raymond Harris.
He really is.
I mean, it doesn't take much, and that's what the Cowboys were saying, that they got to stop him, because all they have to do is give him a little crease. And he's a slashing runner. I mean, that ball is snapped, and he goes right at that hole and just runs through everything. 6 foot, 225 pounds. Ohio State always seems to have a pretty good tailback, don't they?
Long bunch of tailbacks, of which he was a part.
He took over from Robert Smith.
Yep. Here's Meyer. This is what he likes. The Ricky Kroll. Roll out of bounds, a Bear 1st down in Dallas territory.
This is a pretty good mixture here. You know, most of the time a quarterback will drop back, but watch here, it's just a little roll out here to the right. And instead of throwing from back here, he's going to throw from this position here. All you do is you take your pocket, instead of having it in the middle, you move it out to the right and you just throw on the run. And as you said, Rick Meyer said if he had his choice, he would like to be doing more of that.
And he does it very well. 2 tight ends set up this time. All red. Ricky Kroll, the intended receiver. He didn't turn around and the ball was past him.
Now that's that timing thing, and you get a guy like Rick Meyer just starting his 2nd game here for the Bears, and Dave Wanstead knows that you're going to go through those things. And when he made the trade for Rick Meyer, he knew it was going to take a while. It was going to take a while for him to learn the system. Then you learn the system, then you got to get the timing down with the players. That time Ricky Kroll was on one set of timing and Rick Meyer was on another.
2nd and 10. Quickly straight ahead. Only a couple. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Pat, the Cardinals had a chance to upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Kevin Butler's 47-yard field goal off to the right. Tampa Bay still undefeated. And, of course, they will be playing Green Bay next week in Green Bay. We'll join you guys there. Back to Pat and John.
3rd and 8 at Texas Stadium. The Bears have the ball. 3rd and 8. Their opening drive. Here's Meyer rolling right. Pulled it down.
He couldn't throw it. He had to run out of bounds. That was good defense by Tony Tolbert.
Yep.
You know, anytime the quarterback is going to move, the outside rush man on that side has to keep containment. The outside rush man here is Tony Tolbert. So as Meyer comes here, Tolbert has to come down the line here like this, not let Meyer get outside. Meyer tried to throw it, had to bring it back, and in doing so just ran right out of bounds. But that was excellent defense by Tony Tolbert.
And by Antonio Anderson, who was next to him.
Tell you, for a big guy, that guy could really move.
Cowboys tried to block the punt, missed it. There's a flag on the play. And another flag down inside the 10.
And another flag. There's flags all over the place. And they're going to be for two different penalties. One is at the line of scrimmage where they punted the ball, and the other one is downfield.
Right. Back where the punter was. That was the first one thrown. Then the other two thrown downfield. And this one back here has to be some kind of roughing the kicker. Gary Lane is the referee, who lives not too far away from here.
Looks like Bill Bates are letting him a little too close to that thing. Bill Bates is so close, he and Brock Marion, that they're almost in a huddle themselves.
They like to be.
Yeah, but they usually make the players get away when they're discussing these kinds of things.
Stand back a couple of yards.
Multiple fouls. Number 21 blocking after a valid fair catch signal. That penalty's declined. Illegal block in the back. Number 55. That penalty's declined. Roughing the kicker. Personal foul. Number 31 on the kicking team. First down.
Brock Marion's heavy.
31 is Brock Marion, and you were right. This is the first thing that happens. Brock Marion is coming right up the middle, and he lays out. Watch him right here, number 31. You see, once the ball leaves the punter's foot, you can't touch him. It doesn't make any difference how you got there, whether you were blocked, whether you were going for the ball or whatever. If you don't tip the ball or you don't touch it, you cannot touch the punter. And then the penalty on Deion Sanders downfield is once you make a fair catch, you can let the ball go, but after you give that fair catch signal, you cannot block.
Right.
And then, of course, then you have the usual block in the back. So
this is a 15-yarder for roughing the kicker. And it moves the Bears down to the Cowboy 28-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 Chicago. Did they measure off the correct number of yards? That looks like a very long penalty. Meyer back to throw it. Pass is caught at about the 12 by Eric Smith.
Now there's an interesting guy, Eric Smith. They just picked him off off the Kansas City Chiefs practice roster.
Right.
And he's the fastest man on their team. The Bears don't have any speed right now with Curtis Conway out at wide receiver. So they picked up Eric Smith. Now this guy was timed in a 4.3. Dave Wanstead was saying the scout that timed him, this guy timed the fastest that he had ever timed in his life. And they just needed some speed, so they just brought him in, activated him, and now they're throwing the ball already against the Dallas Football Cowboys.
He and Chris Penn both. Here is Raymond Harris, who gets the fake. And Bobby Ingram takes the ball to pass from Meyer. Kevin Smith took him down.
You know, one thing we were talking about what the Bears were going to do is work their tight end and backs and work the inside, but they're also working the outside. Now, not the side where Deion Sanders is, not to their left. They're working this side over here where Kevin Smith is. And they've been running hooks to this side. They've been running short outs, quick outs, and outs on Kevin Smith over here.
Rick Meyer looks pretty sharp.
Very sharp.
2nd and 7. Pro in motion. Here comes the blitz. Raymond Harris to about the 6, 7 maybe.
That's the advantage of having a Darren Woodson as a safety. That play, when that started out, that looked like a touchdown. Because Raymond Harris is going to take the ball and he's going to come up here and break it to the outside. But when you have a safety like Darren Woodson, who was a linebacker and plays like a linebacker, watch him bounce out here and can make a tackle like this in the open field. If it weren't for him getting there and making that play, that looked from the start of it like it was going to be a touchdown.
3rd and 1. At the 8. Raymond Harris. He might have gotten the 1.
At 3rd and 1, see what they tried to do? That they wanted Deion Sanders to have to make the tackle.
Have to make the tackle.
So you don't associate these two things. Here's Deion Sanders here. They're going to run the ball right out here and make him come up and be the first man there. And Deion does it. I mean, he starts off. Now it's just one-on-one. It's just Raymond Harris and Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders makes that tackle. Although Raymond Harris, I think right at the end, watch this little lunge right there. I think that was enough to get him a first down.
That got the first down. If they got it, they did.
That was even less than a little nudge there.
Yes.
That was that little extra bounce at the end after the nudge. I think he had a burst, a nudge, and a bounce.
So that'll make it first and goal at the 6.
Barry Switzer's there and saying you never can tell in this game. You know, you think that of all the offenses in the National Football League, maybe the Bears are the least effective, and they're moving the ball right down the field on it.
Raymond Harris. Ball was loose, and the Cowboys may have had it, but the indication is from Gary Lane, the referee, that the ball was down. Harris was down.
Ryan Cox, the defensive players love this. You know, when the offense stays on the field, controls the ball, that means that they can stay fresh, get rested up, get ready to play. They're the biggest fans of an offense are always defensive players. Watch Raymond Harris there. He gets hit by Tony Tolbert, and as he hits the ground, the ball comes out.
2 tight ends set up. Harris again. Harris barrels down to about the 1.5.
Yeah, we talked about Darren Woodson coming in there, and Brock Marion's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you pass, those guys can play pass defense like pass defenders, and when you run, they can both play the run like extra linebackers. So when you get down here against the Cowboys, you're in essence playing against 5 or 6 linebackers.
Tony Carter in the backfield with Raymond Harris. The 15th play of this drive coming up. 3 tight ends set up for the Bears. 3rd down. They might have jumped. Flag on the play.
I don't think the ball was ever snapped, was it?
I don't think it was.
Well, if it was, it wasn't snapped to Rick Meyer.
False start. Offense.
Those are the kind of things that kill you.
5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And they've been killing the Bears. Keith Jennings jumped.
Evan Pilgrim is the center. He never does snap the ball. Well, he did snap the ball. Yeah, so what happens is they blew that whistle. See, Keith Jennings moved before the ball was snapped, so the whistle blew before the ball was snapped, so the snap and the fumble and all those things didn't count.
Now you got to throw it. 3rd and goal at the 7 after that 5-yard penalty. Penalties have really hurt the Bears so far in their 4 losses. Meyer knocked out of bounds at about the 2 is Chris Penn, Brock Marion, and Kevin Smith.
Yeah, and that's the timing thing that you talk about is you want to throw the ball and you want to throw it down here. You want to move your pocket, but Chris Penn on 3rd down has to get up into the end zone. You see, we're going to see Meyer come out here. Now, Chris Penn, when you're going to run that pattern, you have to get up into the end zone. You see, he runs it 2 yards short of the end zone.
Right.
It's complete, but it's not a touchdown, so they have to go for the field goal.
Sauerbrunn will hold. Jaeger to kick. The field goal is good, and the Bears take a 3-0 lead.
You know, that was exactly what the Bears wanted to do. You know, was to come in here to control the ball, to take time off the clock, to keep the Dallas Cowboy offense off the field, and in some ways that'll frustrate them too. You know, that'll frustrate that offense because they've been warmed up. Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, the offensive line, they're all warmed up, ready to go, and they have to sit there for 7 minutes and watch these guys do what they just did.
16 plays, 77 yards, and they kept the ball almost 8 minutes. They would have obviously rather finished up with a touchdown instead of 3, but that's a pretty good plan.
They also know a few things that they can do. One, they know that Raymond Harris can run. Their offensive line can get some holes. They also know that they can get some passing going, that they can throw to their outside receivers as long as they keep it to the right side.
Those of you who watched Detroit upset Green Bay, welcome to Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall with John Madden, where the Bears lead the Cowboys 3-0. They took the opening kickoff and drove the entire length of the field while they started at their 20. Settled for a field goal and lead 3-0. This will be the Cowboys' first possession. And it's going to be Herschel Walker out of the end zone. Herschel's 35, looks like and plays like 25, they say. The Cowboy offense led by 9-year veteran Troy Aikman. His percentage of completion is 3rd all time. Tuanay, Newton, Shiver, Allen and Williams in front of him. Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnston, Anthony Miller and Michael Irvin wide, and Eric Bjornsson starts at tight end. We'll see a lot of their first-round draft choice from this year, LaFleur.
And there was some question as to whether Larry Allen was going to be able to play today, and we're going to check him in the pregame warm-up, and you can see that he is starting.
Number 73, quick count. Aikman back to throw. Flag on the play. As Irvin caught the pass, but it may have been offensive interference.
Well, every time Michael Irvin goes out, he is going to do some pushing, and then the defensive back is going to do some pushing back. So it's who they saw first or who they're going to call on, but I'll guarantee you they both pushed.
Pass interference, defense.
On the
number
defense.
27.
Was not Michael Irvin.
Penalties declined. The catch is accepted. First down.
You see Michael Irvin has his hand. You see where it is there? He's pushing off of Walt Harris there. And now Harris comes up, and you see Michael Irvin goes to push him again. And when Michael Irvin goes to push Walt Harris grabs his jersey. So they got him for holding.
They both got away with something.
But, you know, in this league, that is something that they're really letting get way away from them, and that's the offensive wide receivers pushing off.
First down. Intended for Darrell Johnston. It was short, incomplete. The Bear defense. Reeves, Simpson, Flanagan, and Theory up front. Reeves replacing Alonzo Spellman, Minter, Cox, and Cox. Bryan in the middle, Braun on the outside. Harris, Mangum, Marty Carter, and Tom Carter in the secondary. 2 Coxes and 2 Carters.
Go right. Cross country, reverse. Reverse.
The first thing you do on defense is you call out the formation. Full right, they said.
Here's Aikman with time. Incomplete. They're looking and pointing. Anthony Miller, the intended target.
I think Walt Harris just came across there and ran into his own guy. Let's just watch Larry Allen. You know, we talk about guys that are the best and say that, you know, he's the best offensive lineman in football, and you kind of watch why, and just some of the things that he does. I mean, he is so powerful when he first punches his guy that initial punch is sometimes enough for complete pass protection.
He had a very deep hamstring pull coming into this game, and there was, as John Madden said, a lot of doubt about whether or not he'd play. That's Davis in motion. Aikman back to throw it. Pressure on Aikman. Incomplete. He just had to throw it away.
And Brian Cox was on him too. Brian Cox was coming from that backside, and if Aikman doesn't throw it away, he's getting ready to level him. You're just going to see Aikman is going to go back, and then he's going to start to the outside. And here comes Brian Cox right here, number 52. And there's a point there that Aikman can feel that coming, and he just gets rid of it. Of course, John Theory was there doing a good job of containment also.
Going back to punt it. And back deep for the Bears, Tyrone Hughes. Good snap. Not a great kick, but okay. Takes a good bounce. Runs away from Hughes. The Cowboys are going to down it inside the 5 at about the 2. And a flag on the play way back at the line of scrimmage. Billy Davis is the Cowboy who downed it. They've done a wonderful job on special teams, the Cowboys have.
You know, and Billy Davis has been one of those guys that have done a wonderful job. That's why he's on this team, although in preseason he was pretty good as a wide receiver, but he's a heck of a special teams player.
Holding. I can't believe they're going to decline this. Although that was a preliminary indication.
You know how far that punt went?
No.
72 yards.
Number 48, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Let me think about this one now. Half the distance to the goal line.
That'd be a big penalty.
That's 1 yard.
Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to fly. By the 1998 Honda Accord, an Accord like no other. And by Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
They changed things around now on this penalty.
Right, it was holding against the Bears. His number 48, Van Hiles. And you'll see him in the left side of the screen here. You see him right here. Now watch what he does. You see him, he has the guy there, then he holds him and he takes him down right there. So that was a penalty. It wasn't against the kicking team. It was against the receiving team. So then the ball, instead of being on the 2-yard line, was half the distance to the goal line, which would put the ball on the 1-yard line.
A 1-yard penalty. They first indicated that it was going the other way.
Yeah, they said it was against the kicking team.
Right.
And they changed and said it was against the receiving team. But in any case, it was still a 72-yard punt.
That's why I couldn't believe that they were going to refuse it. So Raymond Harris stands deep in his own end zone. He gets the carry out to about the 3. Got a couple of yards.
You know, anytime you get backed up like this offensively, your first goal is to get the ball out to the 5-yard line, because your punter is 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. So you want to get him, you want to get out to this line here, then that gives your punter 15 yards. So that's the first thing. And then, of course, after you get past the 5, then you try and get a first down and you just work down the field. But goal number 1 is the Bears need at least 2 more yards.
It's not a good feeling to be standing on anything but green. Out to about the 4.
So they, you know, and you don't like to be thinking that you're going to have to punt, but you have to do that. And these are the things you have to do in football.
You have to get some room for your punter. Normally they get back 15 yards. If they get it out to the 5, he can do back.
And you know, and you hate to do anything from the end zone, because if you punt from the end zone or you pass from the end zone and you have a holding penalty in the end zone, that's a safety. That's 2 points.
And if you stand on any part out of the end zone, that also is a safety. Accidentally step in that area. Too much time. Cowboys will probably decline this. I don't know that they have that option. They move it back half the distance to the goal line. Now they got to make up a couple of yards again to get back where they were.
Dave Wanstead here coming back for the first time. He said this is the first time, of course, he was a defensive coordinator for years here under Jimmy Johnson for the Dallas Cowboys before he became head coach of the Chicago Bears. He said this is the first time he's been back here since he left in 1993. It's the first time Rick Meyer has ever played against the Dallas Cowboys.
5 years in the league. Here's the draw play from Raymond Harris, who gets out to about the 12. Some well-needed room for their punter.
Well, I think on that play there, they got a lot of their goals. One, as I said, you want to get past the 5-yard line, and then second thing, you want to get a first down. Here they run a draw play, good crease, and that's all Raymond Harris needs. Boom, is that little crease. He goes right through that. He gets it to the 5, then he gets it beyond the 10, and he gets a first down.
He got a first down.
That's pretty doggone good.
Yes, it is.
He's already carried the ball 10 times for 37 yards.
Again, it's Harris.
You know, but the big thing that they're doing here, the Chicago Bears, is that they're eating up time on this clock. They're going to make it a short game, and they're keeping the Dallas Cowboy offense off the field. And I'll guarantee you that frustrates. That not only frustrates the head coach Barry Switzer, as you can tell by that expression, but that frustrates these other guys. I mean, Emmitt Smith is sitting there with a baseball cap on. You know, he's waiting to get in there. And these guys just keep the ball, and in doing so are keeping the ball away from them.
Second down. Meyer back to throw. The Cowboys blitz. He's throwing deep. Incomplete. Eric Smith covered by Kevin Smith. You know the word. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Again, they go a little play pass and they get a little rollout, and they are trying to get the ball deep. Again, they just signed Eric Smith, number 15, and he has the speed, and they're trying to get the speed. And it's interesting where they're doing it. All their passes have been to their right side. Whoever the receiver is, the corner that they want to work on, and you can tell the guy that they think is susceptible is Kevin Smith. They haven't thrown a ball yet on Deion Sanders.
They ran that way, but not passing. Meyer smothered by the rush. And the Bears will have to punt.
Yeah, that was Charlie Williams there. You know, we talk about the blitz and how you get the nickel and you bring in the blitzes now and you just get the guys. See, here's Charlie Williams. He comes off that corner. He's the guy that Rick Meyer didn't see.
Right.
See, he's out there like he's going to cover against the slot. You see, and then instead of covering against the slot, he rushes the passer. Rick Meyer didn't count him and didn't see him.
Sauerbrun's punt is a good one to Deion Sanders, who grabs it. Steps out of bounds at about the 45-yard, 46-yard line of the Cowboys. But they'll take over in a little better shape this time. 3-0. The Bears lead it. 2:43 left in the first quarter. The Bears have controlled the ball and the number of plays, 21-4. And that's the kind of attack, that's the kind of plan you like to be successful at. Keep them off the field.
And like we said earlier, take this game into the fourth quarter where you still have a chance to win it and win it there.
That's LaFleur on the move. The handoff is to Emmitt Smith. 3 or 4. Stopped by Barry Minter.
Barry Minter did a good job of stepping up in there because he not only had to step up in the hole when he saw it, but then he had to take on the block of Moose Johnston. So he had 3 things. 1, read it. 2, step up into the hole. Just watch him here, how he reads it. Then he steps up in the hole, takes on the block right there, plays off the block, and makes the tackle. Yep.
Second down. Bears short blitz. Emmitt Smith with the ball tripped up. And knocked backwards right at midfield by Carl Simpson.
You know, this season it seems like Emmitt Smith just can't get started. And one thing is that the offensive line isn't blocking like they used to. The Cowboys are going without a huddle here.
Right.
But the other thing is defenses are penetrating more and getting him before he gets started.
On third down, Aikman. Incomplete. And there's the flag. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver.
And that was that slant, that timing pattern, 3-step drop, 3-yard and slant. Tom Carter, the corner, riding it in there.
Pass interference, defense, number 25, automatic first down.
Here it is right here. It's going to be a slant. Here's Carter. Carter's the guy that they call the penalty on, Tom Carter. You see, you go up 3 and you slant to the inside. I don't know. That looks like pretty good defense to me. He got his right hand over and knocked the ball down without a heck of a lot of contact on Anthony Miller.
After he had knocked the ball down, then is when he made the contact.
Yeah, I think you have to allow a corner to do that. If a corner can't do that, he can't play in this league. That's good defense.
First and 10, that's Irvin in motion. Aikman back to throw it, and here they come after it. Aikman is waffled. Aikman knocked down hard by Barry Minter.
We're just talking about the play that Barry Minter made earlier, stepping up there, and Barry Minter is really going to step up this time. Watch him, he's coming late. You see, he comes right here. That's a delayed blitz. You know, he didn't come right now on the ball. You're going to see him. He's going to wait. He's right there in the middle, and he's just waiting and waiting and waiting. And now he comes. You see, he lets the protectors do the job that they have to, and then he comes on a delayed blitz. And as you said, he waffled. Oh, Troy Aikman.
Second and 10. Aikman goes on a quick count. This is Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt looked as if he had something, but got about 3.
Yeah, Barry Minter, you know, used to play for the Cowboys,
yeah.
and if they don't get him blocked, he's gonna make all pro here today.
He made that tackle.
He's the guy that made this tackle. He's the guy that made an earlier tackle coming off a block. He's the guy that blitzed and waffled Troy Aikman. Barry Minter came back here to Dallas ready to play football today, didn't he?
Healy. This It's a highlight film for Barry Minter. 3rd and 8. See if they blitz him this time. They got 4 set to rush. Here they come walking up. Flag on the play. Aikman has to throw off balance. Fires in the direction of Minter. But he had no time to set and throw in the direction of Miller, I should say, not Minter.
I think that's the thing that Troy Aikman is thinking. He's thinking about Minter and all the rushing and the thing that everyone's doing to the Dallas Cowboys now is they're just blitzing them every passing down, and the Bears are no different today.
No.
Illegal motion, number 48 on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
See, that's against Moose Johnston right here. And again, it's the blitz and the fake of the blitz. You see, he started to move like he was going to the outside, and he didn't reset. Usually what you teach a guy like that, when he starts to move like that, just go in motion. Just keep going, because you can go in motion. But if you go like he did, then you have to reset for a second.
One can go in motion.
But I tell you, that's still good Bear defense. I mean,
Really?
They're tackling well. They're going after Troy Aikman. They're doing all the things they have to do.
Toby going back to punt. They're not going to try to field this one into the end zone. Billy Davis was down trying to make the catch before he went in. The Bears control the first quarter and lead 3-0.
Central.
3-0. The Chicago Bears lead the Cowboys. Trainers are looking at Mark Tuinei.
I think when you start putting those drops in your eye like that, it probably has something to do with contact.
Probably,
doesn't
yes.
it?
Yeah. 1st and 10 Bears at their own 20.
Blocking Brian Cox on that last play and probably popped the contact out.
Pass is almost intercepted. Intended for John Allred, their #1 choice. And the man who they think will ultimately be the tight end on a regular basis for the Bears. Incomplete. Almost picked off. 3-0 Chicago, 33 seconds left in the first quarter.
Well, like you say, you know, Keith Jennings is the starter and kind of a blocker and not much of a receiver. And Ryan Wetnight is more of a receiver. And John Allred will probably be the combination guy that they want. That'll do both.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 back. Raymond Harris, and he gets the carry. Stopped by Dexter Coakley.
Yeah, I will say this, that the tackling in this game is very good today. Both teams are tackling well. I mean, you know, that Raymond Harris, it looks like he's going to break something, boom, someone comes up and makes a tackle. And anytime the Cowboys have the ball, the Bear defense is really attacking their offense and tackling well.
It'll be 3rd and 7, and that'll be the end of the first quarter at Texas Stadium, with the Bears leading the Cowboys by 3. Quarter number 2 coming up.
Dr. Pepper.
Bring it on. Hold on to your drawers. No! It's the King of the Hill that'll blow you away tonight after The Simpsons on Fox.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste.
We're back at Texas Stadium, where the Bears are leading 3-0. They have the ball. At least they're in the shade now. At their own 23, 3rd down and 7.
You know, it looks like this Cowboy defense is starting to wear down a little. The guys are starting to look a little tired out there.
Raymond Harris. And that looks like enough for a 1st down.
I like the way Raymond Harris runs. I mean,
it's all out.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around. I mean, if he sees something, he takes it right now. I mean, there's no dancing, there's no going sideways, there's no going backwards, there's no going anywhere. It's just whack, and he just hits any crease or any opening he sees, and he doesn't even care who's in front of you.
1st and 10 Bears on 3rd and 7. They run it and get the 1st. Flag on the play. Here's Raymond Harris.
They blew the whistle before
in the middle of the play.
And in the middle of the play, it looked like to me that Shante Carver moved on defense, but it could have been Andy Heck. It was on the left side here, but they blew the whistle in the middle of the play. Now, they should have either blown the whistle before the play started or after it's over, but the only thing they can say about blowing a whistle in the middle of a play is they have a word for it. It's called inadvertent. The guy didn't mean to do it, but he did it.
That sounded like that blow sounded like I mean to whistle blow.
But you can't mean to in the middle of the play. I mean, you either blow the whistle before the play starts and it didn't count, or once it starts, you have to let it finish. This is a tough explanation here. I explained that one.
Well, that's the second tough explanation we had. They had the wrong team going the wrong way a minute ago.
They're confused.
Neutral zone infraction, number 96 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, that's wrong. I mean, then they still shouldn't have blown the whistle there. I mean, they still can't blow the whistle in the middle. I mean, for a defensive thing, you see that. I mean, you see the jump, and it was Shante Carver is who it was, but you can't blow the whistle now. No, you let him run the play. If the offensive guy jumps, then you stop it. If the defensive guy goes, and you let him go, you got to let the play go to the end. There was no contact, and it was Shante Carver, 98.
Darnell Autry is in the backfield, and he gets the carry. Autry, their third-round pick from Northwestern, and it's been hot. We know that. Let's go down to Dan Jiggets and see how hot.
As you can see down here, it's very hot. It's 80 degrees down here in the shade. As you get out on that field, though, Pat and John, it gets a lot hotter, and it is extremely humid. The cheerleaders are getting a heck of a workout, too.
Well, I wonder how you picked up that little note.
Well, if Dan told me he lost like 20 or 30 pounds, so it's not as tough on him. You know, hot weather is always tougher on bigger guys than those little guys. You know that.
Dan qualifies. Raymond Harris, midfield.
The other thing is big guys always like wind chill better than humidity. You know, if you have a choice, wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, they will pick humidity, and big old linemen will always pick wind chill, and I think they're the same guy. I think that wind chill and humidity are the same guy, because when wind chill goes, humidity comes. When humidity goes, wind chill comes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I do. Are you a meteorologist is what I was going to ask you.
No, but I just know that if Dan said it's humid down there, then there's no wind chill.
That's good enough for me. Humid. Meyer gets the ball to Raymond Harris. Brought down by Randall Godfrey. Good play.
You know, teams are trying to throw more screen passes, and if it's not red, or if you run the linebacker off, it can be a good play, but they don't run Randall Godfrey off. You see, and he's right up there, and he's man-to-man, and he just gets up and makes the tackle. Although Rick Meyer was hit on that play, and he got up slow. It looked like he hurt his knee on that play.
Darren Benson is getting playing time now, number 91. At defensive tackle for the Cowboys, and he is the biggest of all the tackles they rotate. Meyer, incomplete.
Meyer threw a duck. There was no one out there.
Ricky Prohl was the intended receiver.
But again, it's a blitz, and you see what happened. Darren Woodson came, and Darren Woodson wasn't picked up. It was a safety blitz. He's going to come up the middle. It's number 28, and you watch him. He's right here, and he's going to come and be free. And as Rick Meyer gets back there to throw, he sees Darren Woodson. You see him right there, and he made him come out to the side, and then he just had to throw that duck.
Sauer runs punt. Might be still in the field of play, and out of bounds it goes, and that's where it went out of bounds, at the 10 where they mark it. Van Hiles was down to bat it backwards, and so the Cowboys will take over at their own 10.
The internet.
The Cowboy offensive unit has not spent a lot of time on the field, but when they have, AIKMAN has been under a lot of pressure.
And you can see the effect that it had him. He's thrown 6 passes. He's only completed 1. His last 5 attempts have been incomplete.
Set to rush. Here they come.
But every time he goes back, he's getting rushed, and he's throwing off his back foot, and he's doing everything. I mean, they're on him every time he gets back there and set to throw.
Flannery has replaced Larry Allen at guard. Emmett Smith sifting through tacklers, trying to find a running crease, and it's not available.
And that's been the whole season, and the whole, I think, frustration for Emmett Smith. I think part of it is Emmett Smith. I watch him and don't think that he's running like he did a couple years ago. And two, I know that the blocking up front isn't like it was a few years ago. And then the third thing, I know the defenses are changing. And you're getting more blitzes. You know, we talk about the blitzes against Troy Aikman, but the Bears are also running run blitzes, and they're getting in the backfield before Emmett Smith can get going.
Here's Aikman back to throw. Outside Irvin. And Irvin is taken down short of a first down by Walt Harris. You know, you're so right. The defenses are all different.
Yeah, and here's Michael Irvin out here and Walt Harris, and you see he just gets him up the field, little pushes off. Again, pretty good coverage and a good tackle by Walt Harris. But we can see that, you know, every down is a blitzing down, and they got guys coming inside. And it seems like every time Troy Aikman throws the ball, he is either getting hit right as he throws it, before or right after he throws it.
3rd and 2. He gets the ball out to Darrell Johnson. Moose, broken tackles, finally stopped by John Mangum.
But I'll tell you, Paul Grossmanis really hit Troy Aikman after he threw that ball, or again, as he threw it. Watch number 93 coming right there, boom! I mean, he hit him, and Troy Aikman's head just jolted right back. Watch this hit. I mean, that is a whack, and he got the ball out there and got the first down, but Troy Aikman has taken way too many hits, not only in this game, but in the game against Philadelphia and in the game against Arizona.
They got a first down at the 35, and again the Bears show blitz. Almost there. Incomplete, and no flags this time. That was very close.
I'll tell you, did Emmett Smith do a heck of a job of picking up Paul Grossmanis. Grossmanis comes straight up the middle again, and he's going to get Aikman again. Watch him. He's going to come straight up the middle, and here's Emmett Smith here, and he just sees him and picks him off just before he gets to Troy Aikman. What? He's free right there. He's coming, and Emmett Smith just picked him off.
And nobody blocked him. You're so right.
I know it, and if he doesn't, I mean, he's just going to drive Troy Aikman into that turf. But Emmett Smith may not be running like he used to, but that was a big block.
There's the whistle again.
That whistle was before the play started, so that'll have to be against the offense here, or contact by the defense. That one was definitely before the ball started.
The snap, false start, offense, number 63, 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's John Flannery. Remember, we told you that Larry Allen had a pulled hamstring. They were going to try to see how long he could last. Obviously, he didn't last very long, and Flannery's taking his place.
I'll tell you, that's not a real strength of an offensive line now with Larry Allen out of there, and you have Clay Shiver at center and John Flannery at right guard. We're not talking about the best offensive line in pro football anymore here.
2nd and 15. Aikman back to throw, gets it out to LaFleur, the tight end. The ball bounced out of bounds. This guy is huge.
He is, and it was great coverage by Marty Carter. Marty Carter was right there with him. And again, I mean, he got the completion, but they didn't get any yardage there because of the good coverage.
Bear player down. Grossmanis.
Grossmanis was a guy that knocked Troy Aikman down a couple and almost got him before Emmett Smith got him.
3-0. We're in the second quarter.
Two nearly identical Porsche 911s. One destined for Le Mans, the other for a quieter life in America.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Porsche, who wish to remind you there is no substitute. By Oracle, the company that's enabling the information age through network computing. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, who reminds you the 3 most important words are, hey, beer, man.
The Bears lead the Cowboys 3-0 at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys coming off a bye week. Everyone thought whatever problems they had, they'd figure them out, solve them. But the Bears have played very well.
You know, the Cowboys could be a team that are on the brink of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe not the brink of greatness.
Here comes that blitz. Incomplete. Flag on the play. Step, Brett Williams was the intended receiver.
Yeah, and I think that time Tom Carter did grab him. Earlier on a slant, when they threw a slant in there to Anthony Miller, I thought Tom Carter had pretty good coverage. That time from up here, it looked like Tom Carter
was early.
Yeah, it looked like he was early. It looked like he had his arm around his neck. Although he's saying that it's not a penalty against him. He's still arguing it. What?
And they're still
We're
talking it
setting
over.
a record here, I think, for these crew conferences. We've had like 10 crew conferences in this first half. I guess it's not against the Bears.
No foul on the play. The ball was behind the receiver. It is not catchable. Fourth down.
Fourth down.
Well, I don't like that rule. You know, that when a guy grabs a guy, how do you know that it's catchable? You know, if you watch him here, you see him grab him here.
Grabbed him by the face mask.
Maybe when the quarterback sees that, maybe he throws it high because the guy grabbed him. No, I mean, you can't do that to him and say that's okay. This officiating crew is off to a bad first half. You can't do that to a receiver.
The Cowboys will have to. You can't. No. The Cowboys will have to punt. Go on again. Tyrone Hughes back deep. This is a good kick. The coverage is down in a hurry. And a hustling Charlie Williams down. Good courage. Good coverage. That's Michael Lowry going for X-ray.
Why do I come out here? Because the playing field's level, but the stairs never are. Because if I can't get frost-brewed Coors Light to the fans cold, those guys in the Rockies froze their butts for nothing. So I scale concrete every night. Because somewhere there's a guy eating peanuts or some nachos, and he's thinking of me. Coors Light! Coors Light!
Green Bay is a small town. When someone leaves here, it means something. It means the entire community's been diminished. It means an acquaintance, a neighbor, a friend has left your life forever. Most importantly, it means there's now some extra seats available.
Pat Summerall, John Madden at Texas Stadium. 3-0. The Bears lead the Cowboys. Larry Allen has aggravated that hamstring pull. Again, can't play.
There's Brian Cox over there talking about that defense. These Bears are playing great defense today. They are getting after the Cowboys.
And they're doing well on offense as well. Controlling the ball. Pass complete. And right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Pat, St. Louis Rams successful on this drive here as Tony Banks finds Amp Lee. Amp Lee finds pay dirt. Rams first trip to Oakland since '72 when John Madden was coaching. Right now leading 7-0. Pat and John.
Back in 72.
72 when I was coaching, we sent them right back where they came from, too, with a loss.
Back to Los Angeles.
Back to Los Angeles.
Not to St. Louis.
They weren't ahead 7-0 either. Where'd that come from? That was like venom.
That sounded like a little anger.
I know it. I don't mean it. I'm sorry, JB.
Excuse me. Pass was caught and dropped by John Allred.
I'll tell you one thing about this game. This is good hitting. I mean, this is a good hitting game. You know, both defenses are crisp tackling. They're going after. They're blitzing. The special teams are getting downfield, making good tackles. The offenses really aren't doing a lot, but the defenses are very, very crisp, and there's some very, very hard hitting.
All these blitzes and different kinds of blitzes have made offense and picking up correct people kind of difficult. Pass is high, intended for Penn. Rick Meyer watches the punting unit come on.
Yeah, and that was the first pass I think they threw on Deion Sanders, and And that's a word out. If you're going to throw anything on DEION, you can't throw deep, and you can't throw out or come back, but you can throw ins, crosses, and slants. And they tried to throw a slant on that down to Chris Penn against Deion Sanders. But I think I'd still try other things.
You better be concerned about this guy returning punts, too, if he has a chance. No chance. The ball out of bounds at the 40, and the Cowboys will take over with their best takeover position of the day.
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one.
3-0. The Bears lead Dallas. 7:27 left before halftime.
Emmitt Smith so far only has 4 carries, Pat, for 6 yards, so they haven't gotten him going yet. And that was one of their goals. That was one of Emmitt Smith's goals. That was also one of the Cowboys' offensive goals, is to get their running game going and to get Emmitt Smith going.
Here's Aikman. Outside to Bjornsson. Very little gain, if any. Brian Cox made the stop. We will be on the road again next week, of course, in Green Bay, and so will the pregame show. Second time that cast has come to Green Bay. And look at the NFC Central standing. Tampa Bay visits Green Bay next week, and Detroit, with that victory today over the Packers, is 3-2, the same record as Green Bay. Tampa Bay 5-0.
Who would have thought it, before the season, you said what team in the NFC is going to be undefeated after 5 weeks? Who would have guessed Tampa Bay?
Very few, except people in Tampa Bay.
Well, I think you would have guessed the other Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, Green Bay, of course, they're the world champion, defending champions. Who would have thought Tampa Bay? And I think that's what made it tough here for Dave Wanstead, too. You look at Dave Wanstead, 5 years here with the Bears. A guy like Tony Dungy comes in 2 years. He turns Tampa Bay around. Jacksonville, Carolina, they're in the championship game in their 2nd year. And
the difference is the Tampa Bay people had some players, some impact players. Aikman intended for Irvin. Flag on the play.
That's what they were trying to get, on the blitz. That's the old thing. You live with the blitz, you die by the blitz, they say, and you try and get the big play on it. That time was Michael Irvin on Walt Harris. They got the one-on-one. He had no help. That's the situation they wanted. But still, Troy Aikman has taken a heck of a lot of harassment today.
Offsides, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Carl Simpson is number 98.
And you're just going to watch him just start up. You see takeoff there. That's the thing. It's right in front of the ball. How can you not? I always said, how can you be this guy here and not look at the ball? I mean, the ball's right in front of you, and you move on the ball. They got everyone moving, and what they're doing, it's that hard count that the quarterback gives, and they're moving on his sound rather than the movement of the ball. You see, they have Troy Aikman backing up. Every time he throws, instead of stepping into it now, he's backing away as he throws.
Back to throw is Aikman, going deep. Pass is intercepted and out of bounds. Tom Carter was out of bounds. It was intended for Anthony Miller.
And Troy Aikman has to be backing away as he throws, because every time he throws, he's getting hit. I mean, he's getting knocked down. It was a heck of an interception. It was a heck of a catch. It wasn't an interception. It was a heck of a catch. But watch, we say that Troy Aikman isn't stepping up. And here's why he can't step up. The minute that he steps up, there's guys right there. You see big old Flanagan is hitting him just as he throws. He puts that left leg up there to step the throw, and Flanagan grabs it.
2nd and 10. Here they come. Reverse coming, and down goes DEION. Think they knew that was coming?
I think everyone knew that was coming. That's what DEION said. That's the only offensive play that he has. He only has one offensive play, and that's the reverse. So I think that, that he knew it, we knew it, and it looked like the Chicago Bears knew it. Watch again, Flanagan makes a big play. Jim Flanagan, he started to go pursuit. He was the guy that anytime you're going to run a reverse, you have to get pursuit going the other way and come back against the grain. but you can't run a reverse with that much penetration.
And you can't run a reverse if you can't run anywhere else either.
No, and
you got to
can't-
scare them a little bit.
And they've been having penetration all day.
Got to hurry, and now Aikman's going to have to call a timeout. Walk away.
Hey, this Bear defense has caused complete frustration of the Cowboy offense.
Well, they've done almost the same thing that Philadelphia did on Monday night, and in the second half that Arizona did.
And the fans are booing them too. Yeah. You know, and that's one thing over the years you don't hear a lot at Texas Stadium is booing the Cowboys, especially in the first half, especially any time. But you know, Marty Carter told us that last night that they looked at Philadelphia and they saw what Philadelphia did to the Cowboys, and they were going to kind of copy that defensive plan, and that's what they're doing.
Aikman goes quick count, goes deep. Throwing for Miller. The pass is picked off by Carter.
Hey, they're just forcing things. They're trying to make something happen. They can't do it, so they're forcing it now.
And they're trying to make something happen with Anthony Miller, and it's not there.
There's no question that computers open up entirely new worlds.
We're back at Texas Stadium where the Bears continue to lead the Cowboys 3-0. Our Aflac trivia question this week. How many current NFL head coaches were Dallas Cowboy coaches? Assistants or otherwise. How many head coaches? Meyer gives to Raymond Harris. To the 18. Got a couple. During that commercial break, here's what the Cowboys sideline looked like.
Well, you know, it's just frustration. I mean, you can see the frustration of Michael Irvin right here and talking, you know, and he wants the ball and get him the ball, and Troy Aikman, and Troy Aikman's getting knocked every time he got the ball. He's passed like 14 times, and the Bears have blitzed him 13, so they're blitzing him every time, and they're not. There always seems to be a guy free hitting him.
Oh, it seems to be a different kind of blitz. Pass is picked off by Kevin Smith. Down to about the 7-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds. Meyer tried to throw the slant, tried to force it.
He tried to throw it in there to Chris Penn. Kevin Smith read it perfectly. You read the three-step drop. He's going to read. He's looking at the quarterback. He reads the three-step drop. Then he reads the slant, and he jumps it. He got in there before Chris Penn did because he knows Meyer is going to throw it to a spot. So what happens is Kevin Smith beats Chris Penn to that spot.
That's
right. You see a 1-2-3 drop, timing, throw it in there, but Kevin Smith beat Chris Penn to the spot.
And so the Cowboys take over 1st and goal.
See, and corners will do that. They'll look in there at that quarterback to read how many steps he drops. If he only drops 3, then he has to throw something quickly. And when the guy goes inside, it has to be a slant.
2 tight ends set up for the Cowboys, Bjornsson and LaFleur. LaFleur is the move man. Here's Aikman to throw it. Incomplete, intended for Darryl Johnston. Left his feet and couldn't come down with the ball.
You know, and now you go back to the things that the Bears are doing all day. Here comes Minter, here comes the ends, here comes everyone. They're just blitzing. Every time Troy Aikman throws, they are going to blitz him. They're going to have someone in his face, and they're not letting him set up. They're not letting him get in any kind of rhythm. Everyone knows that the Cowboy offense is a rhythm passing offense.
2nd and 6, a 2nd and goal at the 6.
This is where they just used to run Emmitt Smith down in this area, but they're not doing that now.
Aikman. Anthony Miller. Touchdown.
Roy Hickman is saying, this is tough.
Finally, we got one in the end zone.
Well, the big play on that was the defensive play. Kevin Smith, because Kevin Smith got the interception and got him down there. There's going to be a little sprint out. You don't see that, but they haven't been able to block the blitzing from the inside. And Troy Aikman, again, on that time, had to run right into a blitz as he threw that to Anthony Miller. Ron Cox was blitzing and coming right in his face as he was rolling or sprinting out to that side.
Cunningham's extra point is good, and the Cowboys quickly take the lead 7-3. And we're in the second quarter at Texas Stadium.
It's time.
Hi, Nancy.
You've taken care of every detail.
Are you sure? Uh-huh.
Now it's someone else's turn.
Don't worry.
For 200,000 businesses a day, the choice is clear.
Think about this. That works really nicely.
When their presentations demand they look their best,
Wonderful. Today we're talking about productive partnerships.
they come to a place that expects the same. Kinko's, the new way to office.
Anthony Miller right here. You see he's coming in motion, and then you get a little pick right here. Then he's right here and free. Troy Aikman comes on a sprint, and then he just throws it out there to Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller started on this side, went in motion, came back to the other side, got a little pick, and then was free.
So the Cowboys take the lead 7-3 with 4:02 left to play in the first half. Toby going to kick it off. Tyrone Hughes is deep. This one can and will be returned by Hughes. Flag on the play. The Cowboys special teams do an excellent job. Flag on the play as Hughes goes out of bounds. Like they made a motion toward the face mask.
Those are the two areas of the Cowboys that have been pretty good this season, is the defense and their special teams. Because their special teams are going to get the penalty on this one. And at some point, the Bears, I think, want to just keep the same plan they've had. I mean, just because it's 7-3, don't panic.
Number 54 in the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Darryl Hardy is number 54. Face mask, the indication.
Well, you're going to see number 54 come in right here. You see now he grabs a face mask. Now if he just took his hand off of the face mask right away, it would just be a 5-yard. But I guess they said that little jerk there, that little jerk that he had after he grabbed it, became a 15-yard penalty.
Moves the Bears out to the 35-yard line, 1st and 10 from there.
Yeah, when you're tackling someone in the open field, you're just reaching, you just grab anything you can.
Sure. Here's Raymond Harris from behind by Coakley. Let's give you that Aflac trivia question again. How many current NFL head coaches were Dallas Cowboy coaches? And the Aflac trivia answer is 5. Dave Wannstedt here, Norv Turner in Washington, Jimmy Johnston, of course, in Miami, Dan Reeves, who was a player and an assistant coach here, was the head man in Atlanta, and Mike Ditka was a player and then an assistant coach here, was the head man in New Orleans. Second down. 9. The clock ran down on him.
Yep, Rick Meyer knew it too. He was audibilizing, and he had to audibilize to the right, so the right side got it. Then he had to audibilize to the left, so they got it. And then he knew at that time, he looked at the play clock and knew he didn't have time. He tried to get the ball snapped, but he couldn't do it.
And you saw the disgust on Dave Wannstedt's face.
I think you're going to have that when you get a new quarterback. You trade like they did for Rick Meyer. He doesn't play the first part of the season. Eric Kramer's started. This is only the second game he started for this Bear offense, and it's tough to audibilize on the road.
Meyer goes down. And Matt Cavanaugh in the middle of the frame. Ted Plum nearest you. The assistant coach is up in the booth. 2:47 left to play in the first half. 7-3. Pat Summerall, John Madden at Texas Stadium. Hot Texas afternoon. Troy Aikman taking advantage of a little fanning on the sideline.
I think the Bears would want to be conservative in this 3rd and long situation.
Don't panic. Meyer gives to Raymond Harris. Harris fights his way for 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, and at some point you have to do that. That to me is not give up football. When you get to be 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 16, the Chicago Bears don't have a play against this defense that's going to gain 20 yards.
They just don't have a weapon that's going to scare them.
No, but the biggest weapon they have is their defense. So you don't want to put your defense in a bad position. They've already done that once by the interception, because that interception was really, and that touchdown was really against the offense of the Bears, not the Bear defense. So they don't want to do that again.
Tuesday on Fox, it's game 1 of the American League Division Series. Don't miss the AL Central champion Cleveland Indians taking on the defending world champion New York Yankees as they begin their quest for a 2nd straight title. Catch all the action beginning at live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. Here's Deion Sanders. Fields the punt, gets out of bounds. And Aikman and the offensive unit headed on.
You know, since that first drive, Rick Meyer hasn't been too good. He's been 2 out of 8 for -1 yards. And like we said at the beginning of the game, you have to do something. I mean, you just can't run the ball, control the ball. You have to be able to throw it. You have to be able to throw it down the field if you're going to beat anyone in this league. And at some point, they're going to have to do it. I don't think they had to do it on that 3rd down play, but I think eventually in the 2nd half, they're going to have some plan where they can do those kinds of things.
Irvin comes wide to the right. Cowboys only have 1 timeout. 2.5 minutes left. The Bears again showing blitz as Aikman goes back. They pick it up. Irvin started deep, cut the pattern off, and Aikman threw deep.
I'm not sure. Aikman is looking into the sun like he couldn't even see where Michael Irvin was. But like you say, Michael Irvin ran a hook pattern, and Troy Aikman threw an up. So unless that was supposed to be a double move or some kind of read or something, and usually, I mean, you talk about a quarterback and a receiver being on the same page.
And usually those two are on the same page.
Those two always.
Smith is the lead back, and they get to Emmett. And Emmett looked like he might break something, and then all of a sudden the opportunity disappeared.
Well, you know, we talk about blitzes, and it's not always blitzes against the pass. I mean, that was a blitz against the run. Brian Cox was coming up the middle on a blitz, and Emmitt Smith just runs right by him. But what you're going to see Brian Cox here, you see him, he's blitzing there. There's Minter blitzing, I mean, and then Cox going too, and then he just runs right by him. You see here, you see Minter coming first, and then Cox coming. Cox just makes the tackle right after Minter makes him make the cut.
And that's Minter coming off right now, limping.
And he's the guy that's been in that Cowboy backfield most of this first half. He has really played a heck of a first half, Barry Minter has.
Look at his rushing total for Dallas. No yards rushing.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, we talk about Barry Minter right there. I think he's responsible for that 0 yards, because again, you know, we talk about blitzes, and you blitz and you think of blitzing the quarterback and knocking him down and rushing him, but you also have the run blitzes. And so the Bears in this whole first half have not only been blitzing the Cowboys anytime Troy Aikman passes, but they're also blitzing them on the run and not giving Emmitt Smith anywhere to go.
And they seem to be blitzing and filling the correct holes. Sean Harris is going to take Minter's place.
Like Emmitt Smith has already carried the ball 6 times, or only carried the ball 6 times for 11 yards.
3rd and 9. Here's Aikman back to throw, and here comes the pressure, and down goes Aikman at the 25.
That was Brian Cox here. He came right up the middle, ran past Aikman, and then came and got him from behind. But they're blitzing him everything with everyone. Now watch Cox. He's here. He's going to run straight up the middle. Now watch. He goes behind him, ends up back here. Now he comes around the backside, and he was going for the noggin on that one.
Yep.
Did you see him bring that right arm and whap? He was going for the back of Troy Aikman's head on that one.
Flanagan was wrapped around Aikman's feet. Frustrating first half.
Turn it up, love to pump, slam dunk. In line or online,
to the net. Dr. Pepper, taste to get. Blue Jean, fly machine, football hurdle, space shuttle.
Central. Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste.
Cowboys have to punt. Toby going back deep. Gets off a good kick. Hughes retreats. No place to go. That's Charlie Williams again down. Good coverage.
And we talked about Brian Cox and going after Troy Aikman on that last play. Watch this. I mean, as Troy Aikman is going down, he was really going after him. He was going to really bury him. And I think the fact that Troy Aikman, instead of standing up, I think the fact that he was going down, I think that helped cushion the blow. Brian Cox was just about thinking, boy, I really got one here. And Troy Aikman was going down because Jim Flanagan was tackling him.
So the Bears take over at their own 25. That was a 56-yard punt by Goen.